What is up, everybody? This is Lyle with No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I was on the phone yesterday speaking to a guy at Prime that's about to upgrade to his own truck, and he wanted to know some of the things that he should keep on his truck. Now, I'm going to keep this to the things that I think are safety related. So before we get into that, I want to thank my wife for hooking me up with this Marine Corps patch on this jacket. Take a look at that. Now, she just went out and bought this expensive embroidery machine, something like that, and she's been putting it to good work. Did an Oakland Raider patch from my other jacket, got the Marine Corps patch on this. Might even get something Prime related. I know Prime has a trademark on that logo, but we might change it up a little bit. Say something like it's the ink or something like that. Shout out to Million Mile Man. Anyway, what should you keep on the truck that is safety related? Now, some of this is going to be wind related. Some of this is just safety related in general. Some of this stuff I learned the hard way. All right. First thing I want to talk about is you need to keep some spare air and electrical lines. Personally, I keep the 3-pack, the 2 air lines and the electrical line, and I keep a spare air or spare electrical line as well. I learned this the hard way back when I was team driving. My co-driver, wasn't his fault or anything, made a hard left turn, and the airline pinched between the mud flap and the trailer and punctured a hole in the airline. So that was a very expensive lesson I learned on that one. Now, if you don't have the airlines, another thing I would suggest, and I actually keep this on as well, is there's something called rescue tape, and you can get this. I got mine at a Petro. They might have them at all truck stops, but this stuff will hold up to I think it's up to 500 psi of pressure. So if you nick it, get a little hole in it, you can just tape it up and then replace your lines a little bit later. So definitely keep those. Another thing which I forgot to bring out here on this trip, I left it in my truck at the Denver terminal, was a shovel, full-size shovel. This is one of those winters when it's better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. You're going to want to have a toolbox, at least a toolbox that, I keep one that is, pretty extensive. I'm not too mechanically inclined, but enough to get me by in case I need to replace airlines, things like that. So keep yourself a toolbox. I was just watching some people in Texas that were stuck on some ice, and it really wasn't an incline or anything like that, but one thing that I brought out last year that I used only one time was some rock salt. I needed to use that to get out of a dock that was on an incline last year. And if I was stuck in the position that I saw this driver stuck in, and I wish I knew the name of his channel, he's with Prime, I would have sprinkled some rock salt behind my drive tires and in front of my drive tires, and then I would have let that melt down a little bit, and then I would have backed up and then pulled forward with enough forward momentum to keep me going. So definitely get yourself some rock salt. Kind of doing this off the top of my head. Another thing, seriously, keep yourself an Arctic sleeping bag for winter. So listen, if the truck goes down, maybe your APU's not working or whatever the situation is, that sleeping bag is not only comfortable, but will save you if something like that happens. And to be honest with you, if the weather is like not even below, or if the temperature is not below, let's say 5 degrees, I don't even really run my bunk heater. So get yourself a good sleeping bag. What else do I have for safety? This might be a little bit overkill, and I think I would use them in different situations, but I not only carry the chains, but I have auto socks as well, and I would use those for different situations. You know, if you've been coming through Vail, which I don't really plan on doing in the winter unless it's an absolute must, a lot of times those, when you see that the chain law is up, there might be about a mile before you actually hit the snow or ice, and you could end up chewing up your auto socks before you actually get to the snow. So I have chains for instances like that. And then if I just need to get out of a small situation, don't really want to go through all the headaches of actually chaining, I have the auto socks as well. You know what? As much stupid stuff they talk about on the CB, you know, I know people say they don't run CBs. To me, I would feel like I'm walking down the street naked without a CB. That CB has saved me, not necessarily saved me, but it's helped me in a number of different situations. There was a time that I'd thrown a tread on my tire coming through Wyoming. Another trucker was on the CB telling me I had thrown a tread on my trailer. There's a time I was coming through I think it was Pennsylvania. Come down a hill, there's a curve. Well, apparently there was a truck that was on the shoulder, but not all the way on the shoulder, and then there were trucks that were kind of alerting to that situation. And it just saves you a lot of time sometimes. You know, you'll hear people say you want to be in the left lane, you want to be in the right lane, whatever the situation is. But definitely get yourself a CB. Man, it is snowing out here again. Man, this snow is not ending this year. Another thing, and I think I'm gonna wrap it up with this one, because I mean you can go on and on about different things to keep as far as safety. I mean, I guess Antigel is something that you would want to just keep on your truck in general, but I don't try to go less than having 4 bottles of Antigel on hand. And probably one of the most important things that you can have is some reserve funds. You know, I just got off the phone with Willie, the Million Mile Man at Prime. Check out his YouTube channel, Million Mile Man. And we were kind of talking about it. And one of the things that I think a lot of people do that don't have some reserve money, or they're tight on money, is they might try to drive in situations where it may not be the best situation. And this load that I'm on now is a good example of that. You know, this load was a load that could have dropped anytime I got it there. And if money was an issue, I could have forced it and got it there before payday cutoff. And you know, got paid on this week's settlement. But since money is really not a factor, or I don't necessarily need the money right now, it makes you make more clear decisions. So if you're, and that could be company, that could be lease, don't chase the money into bad situations. All right, that is going to be my last safety tip. I mean, there's a whole lot more than that, but these are just things that come off the top of my head. And I guess the last thing I could say, you know, I personally believe that you can have a no-fault accident out here, but you know, have common sense. You know, if the situation is deteriorating, I know I said that wrong, but pull over. You know, Prime is always preaching the captain of your own ship and all that kind of stuff. Listen, believe me, because if you get in an accident, and I'm not just with Prime or any other place, listen, they are not finding any humor in that at all. So definitely shut down sooner than later, and don't be feeling guilty about that at all. Anyway, that's about it. I'm trying to think if I missed out on anything else, but I think those are like the main things that I would like to say as far as safety goes on the truck. Anyway, I do appreciate you guys stopping by. No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.